Good day, everyone. It's Debbie Barnett here, and today I am going to show you how to use the game launchpad at ilovemahj.com. Now, you will be using, hopefully, my affiliate link that I will include in this video, as well as in the video description. And that will bring you directly to signing up and creating your account. Once you are in I Love Maj, you are going to go to Play and then Game Launchpad. And this is where you will be when you do that. Now, keep in mind, Siamese is a newly added feature to I Love Maj. So you want to make sure that if you're here to play 4-player Mahjong, you are clicked in the 4-player Mahjong. And the tab here will be white when you are clicked in the right place. And the Siamese tab will be grayed out. Let's go ahead and get started with how you play against the bots. That will be the first thing we're going to cover. Now you're going to click on the Play with Bots here, and then you'll notice that there is a drop down. There is also a watch how-to video. Feel free to watch that as well if you want. And then you have two choices here. You have just for fun, and you have an official game. If you're coming in here and playing for the very first time, I would suggest you start out with just for fun, because your game results are not recorded and you'll incur no penalty for leaving the game early. So this is where you want to get used to playing on this platform, and then I'll show you what you would move up to after we discuss just for fun. Now, there is also another feature when you're playing in just for fun, which is to enable the practice mode. And we're going to take a look at what the enable practice mode looks like when we have just for fun chosen. Again, you can also click learn more, because I Love Maj has great videos and tutorials on using this site. We have clicked just for fun in enable practice mode, which here in parentheses you see will say it has a hand suggestions and a discard counter. We now have to pick a bot level, which is right here. And again, you could learn about the bots in more detail here, but I will let you know that the standard level 1 is comparable to a beginner player, level 2 to an intermediate player, and level 3 to an advanced player. Let's go ahead and start out with the standard, which I recommend you do. You do want to play with players at your level to begin with until you're starting to feel comfortable using the site. And if you notice that you're winning a lot of games, then you want to challenge yourself to move up a level, to start playing with better players. After all, if you are a beginner and you want to get out there and play with the public, you're going to be experiencing all level players. So you need to learn how to play against better players, and it also helps you improve your game. So now go ahead and I'm going to click the launch pad. This is going to pop up, and this is asking if somebody is searching for a player. They're currently on the site and they want to play with other humans as opposed to bots. If you click yes, you will get invited into their game or their game table. And now I would say start out by saying no initially until you're very comfortable playing on this site, and then feel free to say yes to experience that. One thing that you won't know if you do click yes and go into someone else's game is what level player they are. So you may be invited to a table where they're playing against the advanced bots, and they play quickly, and they're not wanting to wait for you to make decisions. So this could definitely be an issue that occurs. I just want you to be aware of that. So you'll do that when you feel comfortable. So I'll go ahead and click no here. After you click no, it opens up this screen where you have the ability to change your card. And this is something that you want to make sure is set to the 2024 card until we get the new 2025 cards by the end of March, beginning of April next year. Then you're going to want to go in and click on the 2025 card because I don't believe it defaults to that. Please be careful about that. And I Love Maj also has their own fun card. It's a fun way to try other hands out and test your knowledge of your ability to read a National Mahjong League card. And I'm going to go ahead and make sure this is clicked, which it is, and it shows right here. And then the auto timer, I just want to take a few seconds here to talk about this. I would suggest you leave it off for now until, again, you get familiar with the site. But then you want to start with 10 seconds. And what this auto timer does is it will help you gauge how long it's taking you to make a decision about whether you want to call or claim a discard. Even if you choose 10 seconds, there is a pause button, so you still can pause it. But if you're really concentrating on things and you forget to click that pause button, you'll lose the opportunity to claim the discard. Your goal here is to try to get down to making decisions in about 4 seconds, which would mimic an expert level player when they're playing in person. I'm going to keep it off for now, and we're going to go ahead and say, okay, bot level 1 was chosen previously. You have another opportunity here if you decide to change your mind. And this area here is to change colors of the screen. So if I change it to botanical, you see what it did. Minimal blue, cheeky ocean, jade green, Joshua tree, and classic mountain. I'm going to leave it on classic mountain for right now. You can also change the tiles that you use. I suggest you start out on this left side and either choose the classic tiles, which I'm going to use for this purpose. If you are sight impaired in any way, the large print is fabulous because it gives a larger design on the tile. So please feel free to choose whichever one you want. And when you are really comfortable playing on this site and you feel you are at a higher level of play, you can come over and try out the Mahjong line tile designs. Many of them don't look exactly like dots, bams, cracks, dragons, etc. I'm not going to spend time going through this right now, but feel free to just check it out. And again, if you're using just for fun, you have nothing being tracked as far as wins and losses, and so you have nothing to lose. All right, so I'm going to keep the classic, and then we'll go ahead and look at what the large print tiles look like right after we do this. Now, after you have gotten all this set the way you like it, you'll click Start Game. You could see here my opponents are Marjorie, Quinton, and Dottie. And they also have adorable names using a word related to Mahjong. So we've got Dottie using dots, Quinton using quince, and Marjorie using the word Maj, or the first part of the word Mahjong, Maj. All right, let's start the game.
First Charleston.
Now I am using the suggested hand mode, and that's why this box is here. I'm going to go ahead and sort my tiles. I'm not going to play through a full game, but I just want to show you how this works. So when you go ahead and click on this, it's going to show you all of the potential hands that you could be playing right now based on the highest number of tiles towards the hand first, and then it'll move down. So for this first hand, there are 5 tiles towards this. So right now, we don't have a whole lot going on, but what you want to do when you're working initially at a high level is certainly keep track of as many things as you can see on here. So these are all the hands that this platform is giving you. And there are quite a bit in the 2, 4, 6, 8. There's also one hand in 2024 and an any like numbers option as well. And so they're pretty spot on. If you wanted to, then you could obviously click on the tiles that you are going to be getting rid of that do not apply here. For instance, the 7, the 3, and by the way, if you click on each one of these, it's going to sort it into that order, which will make it a little bit easier for you to figure out which tiles are not included in there. But I know these 3 are not, and that would be your first pass. And after each one of these passes, it's going to give new suggestions based on what has come in. So now if you click on this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one, you've got tiles that are left here on the right that were not included in any one of these. Once the first Charleston is completed, a box will pop up alerting you to stopping the Charleston. So if your opponent bots or you stop it, it will take you directly to the optional pass. Once you've completed the courtesy pass, the game will begin, and I will show you how we toggle between suggested hands and looking at the discard counter. Okay, now you still have your suggested hands, so you can open that up and see that there's 3 hands that have 7 tiles toward Mahjong, and then one with 6 and one with 5. And you could certainly keep track as many of these as you want to begin with, but there are your hand suggestions, which is fabulous. You also can look at your tile counter by clicking on that show discards, and this will show you how many tiles are used up. So if I go ahead and click, because I am east starting out the game, it's showing right down here under my picture. I'm going to start out by throwing
west, north.
If you look at the west, you'll see one has been used up. With this tile counter, you can also click on include exposures. That's important because that is going to help you know what direction you're going to go in with a hand. So I always click that. So be sure and do that. And if you want to go back to hand suggestions, you toggle here. You're not going to see the discarded tiles on the board using this option. So you may or may not like this feature. Okay, now I'm going to ignore this.
Soap.
And I'm going to ignore this.
Green.
And this. And now I have a 1 dot. So you could see now the discards. They have, this box has turned a brownish tan, and that means one of those have been discarded already. As additional tiles are discarded, that number will go up. If I go back to suggested hands, you could either choose to keep this up or toggle back and forth between the two, which is absolutely fine. It's there to be used and to make your decision making easier while you're in a learning mode. You do not want to use this all the time because you have to start thinking for yourself. But anyway, that's how this is used. I'm not going to go too much more on this. I do want to say that to do a joker exchange, you simply double click on the joker. So if you pick a tile in that is a 1 dot, you just double click on the 1 dot. I would have to play through to show you that, but I think it's pretty explanatory to say double click on the joker and it'll just swap out the joker for your 1 dot that you picked in your hand. If you run into any challenges during the game or have a question about why something happened, click on the question mark here and a box will pop up. You just type your question here and submit it. It will go to the creators of I Love Maj and they will get back to you with an answer. It's quite nice. To exit out of the game, you can just click up here because you already have the game launchpad open and X out here. And your changes, it says, are not saved, but that's fine. And you just say leave. And now we're back at the game launchpad here. I'm going to go ahead and uncheck enable practice mode and launch the game again so we can go over the timer. We're going to set this here to 10 seconds. I'm going to keep this at level 1.
First Charleston.
Start the game. There's no option for suggested hands any longer. I'm going to sort by suit as I normally do. And I'm just going to speed it up going through the entire Charleston so that we can get to discarding a tile. This should happen
South.
fairly quickly. Here we go. So now you see there is a countdown timer and I'm trying to decide if I want the south. Of course, I don't want it, but I just paused it. Now that I paused it, I can take as much time as I want to make a decision. So let's
7
see how that
crack.
works one more time. Here we go. So if you're not sure, you got to really take time, click on the pause button, and that timer is no longer there. That's pretty easy. All right, so I'm going to exit out of this game and leave here. And we've just learned about the just for fun. And now we're going to talk about the official game. Difference between the two, as I said earlier, is the official game is going to record all your wins, all your losses, and you will incur penalty points for leaving the game early. All right, bot level, I'm going to leave at standard here and pretty much just launch the game. Pretty easy. Again, no to open to live games. Again, you have these features here to check and change if you want. Keep this off. If you want for this purpose, I'll keep it off. And then start your
First Charleston.
And sort by suit, which is what I like to do. And I don't need to play through the whole Charleston because there is no auto timer on. I turn that off and you will just proceed as usual. Now, everything is pretty intuitive. It lets you know what you're on here. It lets you know whose turn it is. It tells you when you can stop the Charleston. Every single thing is clearly printed in this game table, so you should never have to wonder about where you are at. Now I'm going to go ahead and close out of here because there is one more thing I do want to show you. If I go in here and get to this next screen, I want to change the tiles to large print so I can show you what
First Charleston.
you can see that the numbers and the design on the tiles is much larger. And so this is a fabulous way to play if you are sight impaired at all. To conclude this video, you will see following the bonuses and penalties you will occur and used in calculating your rating as shown under your profile, which you can get to by clicking on your name. You will also find a lot of other useful information on your game statistics page, including your wins, losses, hands completed on the card, and much more. And thank you so much for watching.